Hello and welcome to this, my latest chess game. This game was played today. That's Monday the 10th of September 2012 on the free internet chess server. It's a 5-minute blitz game, my preferred time play, pardon me. And I'm white. And it's an instructional game in the opening, the Scotch Mieses. Here I actually miss an important move, or 4 moves for checkmate in 16 moves. So I can learn something from this. By the way, my opponent isn't that highly rated. He's only 1250 and I'm just below 1200. I'm having a very difficult time getting my rating up, but hopefully I can learn from this, and I found this game useful to show some of the exciting potential of the Scotch if the mainline moves aren't played. So let's get into the game. I start 1e4, my favourite white opening. Black plays e5. I play knight f3, and black plays knight c6. Here the move now 3d4 is the Scotch opening, and black plays the standard e takes d, and I recapture knight takes d. Now black plays knight to f6, and we start to head towards the Mieses variation. And preparing that, I play knight takes knight c6, and here black doesn't want to take back with a d pawn, otherwise the queens oppose one another, and as white I'd play queen takes queen check, and black would have to play king takes queen to get out of the check, and his king would be stuck in the centre without safety, without being able to castle. So in fact black often here prefers to play b takes knight c6. It does give him double pawns on the c file, and also though it gives him an open b file, which can be useful for him when he puts his rook on that, so white has to watch that. I have mentioned these sorts of things before in my other video on the basics of the Scotch opening. But anyway, I'm going on with the Mieses, and the standard Mieses variation now is e5, so I play that to kick the black knight from f6, and here black's normal or best move may well be queen to e7 to pin the white pawn, and then white can't take the knight, and then white's best move from there is to play his queen to d2 to unbreak the pin. But actually here in this game black just puts his knight to safety, knight to d5. So with the Mieses the attack is maintained, and white plays c4, and that knight has to retreat again, so knight to b6 and keeps the attack on the c-pawn, and here I elect to play bishop out, develop the bishop to d3, still protecting the pawn on c4 and giving me the option to castle kingside. Now for black here, more mainline in the Mieses would be maybe d6 or d5, or even the light squared bishop from c8 to a6, but in fact my opponent here develops his bishop, his dark squared bishop, to c5, giving him an opportunity to castle and attacking the f2 square. Well, I take my opportunity to castle kingside, and black castles kingside. And at this point I look at my setup, and I realise I have tremendous potential with my 2 bishops aiming on the king side, and also my queen aiming on the king side. I'm especially interested in this light squared bishop, has the potential to take the weak h7 pawn with a check, a sort of a Greek gift sacrifice, which can often cause trouble in games. And so I decide to carry on and use this battery and attack the king side. So I play queen out to h5 with the immediate threat of queen takes h7 checkmate. Well, black obviously sees this and plays h6. And the other feature about this attack on the castle king that I just didn't mention but want to go back and mention is there is of course no knight on f6 now, because this pawn move here at the start of the Mieses has kicked the knight from f6 and it's ended up on b6, so that further weakened the king side. Well here, because I have such tremendous attack with my bishops on this side, I decide to play a sacrifice, and I play bishop takes h7. I haven't analysed what would be the best response for black here, but black is in deep trouble, whether he takes back or whether he pushes his pawn 1 or 2 squares. Pardon me, sorry about that, a cough. But I'm not going to analyse that. In fact, here black just does play pawn takes bishop, g takes bishop on h6, and now the king is vulnerable as I play queen takes bishop, queen takes pawn rather, h6, and I still have this checkmate move on h7. Black of course spots this and makes space for his king to retreat if that is played by playing rook to e8. Well, now just pause for a moment. After I'd played my wrong move here, queen to h7 check and allowing the king to flee, after the game, which I did win by the way, I put it through crafty engine, chess engine, and he came up with a mate in 4 from here. Can you see it? It's quite obvious now to me now I know, but it's bishop to h7 check. Then the black king has to go to h8, and then the bishop just drops back to g6 with a check, discovered check from the queen. The king has to then go back to g8 when the queen can come to h7 check, and the king then has to move to the f8 square when queen can go and play queen takes f7 checkmate. So that was the 4 mate move checkmate that I missed in this position, and in fact I just played the lame and weak check that I'd been planning and would have been checkmate if from the original time a few moves back. But here of course black can just move his king out of the way to safety, king to f8. So what do I play now? Well, I play queen in the corner and give another fairly meaningless check as the black king escapes now to e7, and I'm attacked. The white queen is now attacked by the rook. But I have this good tactic where I can play queen to f6 check, and black has now to play his king out. But I think there should be something better in this position, but I'm not sure yet, and I just play queen back and we just play a couple of moves. Now I don't want the same moves. I don't want to get a draw by repetition, so when black plays king back to f8, I now play queen to h6 check instead, so I'm not going to get the draw by repetition. But here now with black playing king back to e8, I think my attack has petered out, so I just tend to accept this and I play knight to c3 to try and get some of my other pieces up to attack that king that's not in a good position. Well, here black blunders really, makes things worse by playing rook to h8 attacking my queen, because I have a good move again, just putting the queen back to f6 check, and the king again has to move to the back rank, and if he moves to e8 then I can play queen takes rook and I go a rook up for nothing, and I should easily win the game from there. At this point actually my opponent resigned, he'd had enough. But there just shows the attacking possibilities in the Mieses Scotch, and an interesting mate that I missed, and I hope to learn from this and remember how to play that mate in future when you have 2 bishops and a queen and using a bishop sack for maximum effect. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope to learn from it too. Well, thank you very much for watching. That's all for now.